Alrighty, everybody. Today we are tasting our 2016 Pinot Noir, but I am going to take it full circle. I've done a video on how to open up a bottle with a double pull wine key. I've done a video on the 5 S's, so I decided with this Pinot Noir, let's run it from the top, let's open it up together, let's go through the 5 S's. I'm going to tell you what I taste and what I would pair with this wine, and also how we made this wine. All of our wines are unique. This Pinot Noir being very, very unique. So let's jump right into opening the wine bottle. So our bottles have these little tabs here. I don't know if you can see it, that little gold tab. So all you have to do is pull it and cut it. Now, if the bottle does not have that tab, the proper way of cutting a wine bottle or a wine capsule is from below the bottom rib. Not this top rib, but below the bottom rib. That's the proper way of doing it. So if you're hanging out with a wine snob and you want to act fancy, you want to drink like a pinkies up wine drinker, that's how you do it. Let's jump into the double pull here. So we're going to put the corkscrew all the way into the bottle. Not all the way, like I referenced in the video. I leave a little bit, just 1/4 turn out. Top flange on top of the bottle, hand over the rest of it, pull the back, bottom flange on top of the bottle, pull the rest of that cork out, and you get that lovely. Okay, now, pouring the wine into the glass. I'm going to do a slight turn just so that wine doesn't drip down, and we're going to go through the 5 S's. Now, sight. Remember, we're not doing the movie star, we're doing it white napkin, white piece of paper. Wine's going to be held right above it. Now, I'm going to run through what I see with this Pinot Noir as we're doing the 5 S's. Translucent, lighter style, slight browning to the outside. It's a 2016 Pinot Noir, relatively older Pinot Noir, not young for a Pinot. So you're starting to see some of that ruby red drop out. That's the first indication that, okay, this wine is hitting its peak, if not at its peak. Okay, then we're going to swirl. And we swirl to release the esters, which are the gas forms of acids and tannins, alcohol, and then we're going to get my big schnoz in here to see what we smell, because smell is correlated to taste. Now, one other thing I like to do when I'm tasting wine, always have water. Soda water is great. Clear your mouth out a little bit, and then jump right into the wine. I just had some coffee. It's 9 a.m. We're jumping into wine, so let's clear this palate out. After coffee, it is wine drinking time. There's no in between. At least over here in Boston. Welcome. Okay, so when I put my nose in there, I smell a lot of cherry notes, a lot of fresh fruit, a little bit of raspberry. You do get some slight funk, a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of this is going to sound weird, barrel-aged cheese. You are getting that on this Pinot Noir. Then we're going to sip. And remember, when we sip, we move it throughout the areas of our mouth all over, because the different areas of your mouth pick up different things. Front, your tongue's going to get sugar. Down here, acids on top of your tongue. That tannin dryness is what you're going to pick up if the wine has any. Okay, so still getting some fresh cut grass. So a lot of that cherry note is still coming out. Almost like a candied fruit note too. You are getting a little bit of tobacco towards the finish. This wine is not very dry. Pinot Noirs typically aren't very tannic. This isn't very tannic. Wisps away off your palate. It's not going to linger very long. Just remember that it also takes 3 sips to try a wine, to truly try a wine. That first sip that I just took is clearing my palate. The next one I'm going to take is going to coat it. The third one is really when I'm going to taste it. Especially when you're jumping wine to wine, it's very difficult to judge, and you can't judge off of that initial taste because your palate has adjusted to the wine you just previously had. So try to sample your wines a couple times before you give them a judgment. So we're going to jump right back into this. And now I pick up a little bit more of those fruit notes, some more raspberry notes, a little bit of plum to it as well. This wine is also going to open up a little bit. One other thing about tastings, try to go light, heavy, sweet. When you go in reverse order, right? Let's say we try a Petite Syrah, big bold wine, then go to a white wine. Our palate's just going to be so used to that big, dense Petite Syrah that going to that white wine is going to be very, very difficult. So try to taste in succession of light to heavy and then finish sweet. Once you go sweet to taste a non-sweet wine, it's just going to taste super bitter, super acidic. So I do want to jump into this Pinot Noir, but before that, just know that right now, as that wine's sitting on my palate, I am savoring it. I'm still thinking about what it tastes like. But let's talk our 2016 Petite Syrah and how we made it. So this is all Susan Valley Californian fruit. Now, what a lot of people don't realize about wines in the U.S. and winemaking in the U.S. is if we only put 75% Petite Syrah in this bottle, or excuse me, Pinot Noir in this bottle, we can call it Pinot Noir. We don't. It's 100% Pinot Noir. That is rare to see. And the reason that there's that 75% rule or law through U.S. winemaking, maybe not the reason, but the reason it's used so often is Pinot Noir Cabernets being your highest demanded fruit makes it some of your most expensive fruit. So to make a little bit cheaper of a product, a lot of wineries will pump in something or put in something a little less expensive, maybe something with a little bit more color to it because we associate wines with deeper color to being classy or more expensive. And typically they're a little bit sweeter as well. So we don't see often 100% Pinot Noirs. Now, this is 100% Pinot, but to make it heavier like the commercial standard, because typically Syrah, Petite Syrah are put into Pinot Noirs to give them a little bit more backbone, a little bit more fruit, and again, a little bit more color. Syrah is a bigger varietal than Pinot Noir. We didn't filter this. So this is an unfiltered Pinot Noir. And you're not going to get much sediment on it. You're not going to get any sediment at all because Pinot Noir is a very light grape skin. But the reason we didn't filter is with that longer exposure to the skins and seeds, you're going to get more flavor through this Pinot Noir. So it will taste different from your industry standard commercialized Pinot Noir. In fact, Pinot Noir Cabernets, they're very difficult to match. And when I say that, when people come into the winery and they say, I love Pinot Noirs, I love Cabernets, I always think, well, you like red blends. It's very, very difficult for me to match the wines that you're used to unless I know the brand and I know the taste, because typically Pinot Noirs and Cabernets are blended wines. Now, this is a non-blended 100% Pinot Noir, all Susan Valley fruit, which comes from California. So we source that grape over, make everything here. We use an RP15 yeast strain on this. Now, I know I'm getting a little bit more sophisticated. That's going to promote a lot of the fruit flavors in it. We love that yeast strain. We use it on a lot of our varietals. This is a great wine to pair with charcuterie, cheese, but also some pizza. Now, it depends on what toppings you put on that pizza, but lighter style stuff, you know, nothing with prosciutto or salami, or I would stay away from meat. This is great for a margarita pizza. Great for lighter proteins on the grill. Anything with char marks, this Pinot Noir does have some slight acidity to it, which would go well with it as well. The only way to know for yourselves is to grab a bottle, try it for yourself, but thanks for joining me today, guys.